And joining me now is the former president of Ukraine, Mr. Poroshenko. Mr. President, thank you for spending a few minutes here. Let me just start with what you're seeing in Kyiv right now. You're standing in front of a bombed-out building there, and the supposed promise that Russia made in Turkey during negotiations that they were backing off their military onslaught of Kyiv. What have you seen in the last 24 hours, sir?
I see exactly the same than you see. This is the civilian object, civilian buildings, which was attacked and destroyed by Russian cruise missiles. And this is the very bright demonstration about the de-escalation a la Putin.
Right.
Words, no deeds. And I'm not sure that microphone is working very efficient, but you can now hear the artillery fire of the Russian artillery and Russian multi-rocket launch system, which happening just maybe 7 kilometers from here, from Russian artillery position, fighting and shelling on the civilian object. We are now on the northern border of Kyiv, and to the Russian position again. This is the 6 kilometer, and this is just a demonstration. The war is in a very high level, and today is exactly 5 weeks of the heroic fighting of whole Ukrainian people. And I do exactly as doing any democratic president in my shoes. We are protecting, defending Ukrainian people. We are together with our troops stopping Russian aggression.
So given that what was deemed as a potential start of a breakthrough in peace talks between the Russians and the Ukrainians, the fact that they're not even abiding by what they say, how do you negotiate with somebody that is yet to be honest with anything they've promised?
Several recommendations. Recommendation number one, please, don't trust Putin. I am the president who have a negotiation with Putin for 5 years. He never keeps his words.
Okay.
And it's starting because 2 days before the aggression and the war start, he promising not to launch the aggression. Point number two, don't be afraid of Putin. And point number three, Ukraine never give up, and the territorial integrity of Ukraine cannot be the part of any compromise. This is the demand of our constitution, and I'm very much happy that all Ukrainians together, starting from me and finishing with the president or other way around, confirming that this is not possible. From our partners in the world, we need more sanctions and more weapons.
Crimea and the Donbas region, can it be part of a negotiation if Russia truly does want peace?
Alaska can be negotiation for the global security if Russia wants Alaska. Russia has absolutely the same zero reason to demand Crimea or Donbas as Alaska. And if we allow Putin to speak ultimatum language, the war never ended and Putin never stopped. And we think that it is absolutely unacceptable when we accept the precedent to change the border by force in the 21st century. Definitely this is unacceptable. Definitely Putin should withdraw his troops. Definitely we can do that with the strong support of the free world. Please launch exactly like you do it in the World War II Land-Lease Act, and please launch second front, everything but soldiers, from sanction to embargo. And with this situation, I'm absolutely confident that Putin cannot keep going, and Russian troops would be withdrawn from Ukrainian territory.
I was just going to say, you think the fact that Russia is wanting to negotiate is a proof of weakness now. They know they can't take the country. They know they can't take Kyiv, so they're desperate to come away with something. Should that be read by the Ukrainian side as, hey, we can win this war and we can push them out of the Donbas region?
First of all, we never give up. And first of all, we never have any doubts that Ukraine will win. But please don't underestimate the Putin tactics. Putin, when he said that he withdraw his troops from Kiev, this is not true.
Right.
This is the de-escalation a la Putin. He just take it for the regrouping in the Chernobyl zone, for the new attack against Kiev. We in Ukraine and me as a fifth president don't have any illusion that Putin will continue to attack us. And that's why the shortest way to the peace, would be supply weapons to Ukrainian armed forces. Because that's...
What aren't you getting from the United States and NATO that you would like?
First of all, we kind of weapons. We need anti-aircraft missiles, because we cannot give them the airspace above the civilian object you see here, above the nuclear power station, and this is definitely a significant element for our victory. We definitely need anti-tank rocket launcher. We need tanks and armed personnel vehicle, and this is not a fortune, because I can tell you as the Supreme Commander-in-Chief of Ukrainian Armed Forces for 5 years. Now we can have 300 tanks and maybe 1,000 armed personnel carrier. This has completely changed the whole picture of war.
Right.
Please help us to save you.
Final question is this. Can this war really end peacefully with Putin still in power in Russia?
Difficult question. I believe yes.
Okay.
I believe yes.
How?
And with this situation, we don't know when it can be possible. But if it would be hell sanction, if it would be hell embargo, the conflict inside the Russia bring Putin to the decision to withdraw Russian troops from the Ukrainian territory. That definitely can not be the stable security, but definitely that can stop the war. Our solidarity, unity of Ukrainians inside the country can bring Putin to the decision to stop the war. I strongly believe with that.
Mr. Poroshenko, your words strike the heart and the head really well over here. I appreciate the time and appreciate you telling us what you're seeing and what you're experiencing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed.